I welcome Mr. Shiva sir to the School Leadership Summit. And here in the first session, we have gone through the Anil Swarup sir with his all the interactive and the ground related work. So I just request Krishna to stop the sharing the screen. So I welcome Shiva Prasad Desai, Head of Product Development, KYS Systems, and he will be demonstrating the innovations and the initiative has been taken by the KYS system in the education sector. So first we will take the presentation from the Shiva sir, then we will take the audience questions and all the initiatives that have been taken care by the EJAT slate in the education domain. Over to you, Shiva sir. Sir, can you unmute your mic?
Thanks very much, Abhishek. Morning, everybody. Morning, Ravi. Morning, Abhishek. Morning, everybody who's on the webinar. To introduce myself, my name is Shiva Prasad Desai. I head the product development initiatives at Elets. So let me straight away jump into the presentation, and we will start taking the questions at a later time. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible, Abhishek.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
it's loud and clear.
Okay, now Easy Slate is a learning management system with a difference. That is what we call it as. And what does it bring to the table? It enables teachers with higher productivity. It saves time for them. It reduces administrative and repetitive tasks for them while helping them to create their regular activities like lessons, managing courses, and interaction with their peers and students. And for the students as well, it allows them to review the class lessons, calendar, submit assignments, then take quizzes, group activities, experience gamified concept learning, self-evaluation, and interact with their classmates. So this, whatever we have been doing over the past 4 years on the product, and with the new education policy and the insights given by Mr. Anil Swarup, it only reinforces our efforts in that direction. So if you look at what Mr. Anil Swarup said, he said education, the center of the entire thing is basically teachers and students, and that is where we are also focused on. We are focused on the teachers, we are focused on the students as for the entire technology that we have built as an LMS for the educational institutions. So if you look at Easy Slate as a product, I can give 6 main things on this. One, it is a SaaS-based, completely managed. This can be accessed anywhere, anytime, on any device. So completely on the cloud. There is no capital expenditure involved in the entire process. It's the most comprehensive LMS. The reason why I say comprehensive is because the kind and the number of tools that we have given within the system for increasing student retention, increasing the in-class and off-campus engagement with the students, the kind of teacher engagement that can happen, the kind of data that the teachers can organize within the product. So that is why we call it as the most comprehensive LMS. This product can be used for both K-12 and the higher education. It is not restricted to only K-12, but it can be extended to the higher education sector as well. The user interface is very, very simple, very intuitive, and something that, I mean, if somebody knows how to browse a website, browse internet, they'll be able to use the product comfortably. So the training involved in using the product or getting to speed in terms of using the product is very, very low. We have the best in technology in terms of security, the scalability, the backups that are available, the disaster management that is available. So we have the best in class technology that we've implemented it with. And the best part is in the current Corona or the COVID-19 scenario, we have the virtual classroom built into it. I mean, it is a standard functionality within the product. It is not something which is outside the product, but a standard functionality within the product. So if you look at it that way, we have basically divided the entire thing or classified the entire set of functionality into 8 main modules. It starts with the course builder, where you have authoring tools for courses, the course formats that you have to use. Then you have a staff and student management in terms of role creation. What are the kind of roles? Because if you look at a teacher, there are different types of teachers that are available in a school. You have a subject teacher, you have a class teacher, then you have the principal. Principal is also a teacher. So that way you have a different set of teacher or different types of teachers. So you can create multiple roles, any number of roles. There is no restriction on the number of roles. Then you have content sharing and delivery, where you can share any kind of content. It could be office documents, PDF, videos, images, interactive videos. The entire thing can be content sharing and delivery is possible. We have live virtual classrooms where it is a part of the LMS. There is no separate costing or pricing on that. It is integrated within the LMS product. And here for this particular product, it is not required for you to install anything. You don't have to download anything from the internet. You don't have to add anything. It works on any browser that you have. So that virtual classrooms is already integrated. You have tests and assessments. The good thing is, I mean, we spoke in the national education policy in our previous session that there is a lot of impetus or a lot of focus that is being given on the kind of assessments that are going to be there. And if you look at the education policy, the learning outcomes that they're talking of, the learning objectives, the learning outcomes, and the competency frameworks that are coming up in the education policy, we already have those kind of functionalities which are already built in, wherein you can bring in learning objectives or learning outcomes from any of the frameworks that you have, the competency frameworks from anywhere that that is required. Of course, homework and assignments are the on a regular basis to the students, which goes on and on. You have reporting and grade books available within the system. We have quite a number of canned reports that are available, which can be directly the schools can start using. And you have a grade book where the student have the access to their grades right from the initial, probably the unit test that they do, and across till the final exams that they go through. And we have online collaboration tools in the system, like you have forums, you have wiki, you have chats, you have email communication, quite a number of collaborative tools that we have provided. And the most important thing is we provide we have algorithms built into the system where we provide predictive analytical reports for each student. See, what happens is after 10th or after 12th, the student is in a fix. That is why we were talking, Mr. Anil Swarup was talking about counseling sessions that are going to happen. The more number of counselors that are going to come in, the counselors are required to make the decision or help students make the decision, the right kind of profession that they need to take or the academic path that they need to take. So we provide those kind of predictive analytical reports for each and every student so that it helps them take that right decision in their careers. So this is, I'm going into detailing each one of the modules that we have. But yes, I would not dwell too much into this. As Abhishek was telling, we will get into a question answer session. And if there are specific questions on each one of them, I can also go through. So we have an online course builder and content development, interactive content. You can take any standard video, build the content, build the interactivity in the content. So we have those authoring tools. We have those course building tools within the system. And for a given course, you can have multiple, for example, if in a CBSE school, if you're teaching, if you look at science, there are 3 components, that is physics, chemistry, and biology. So as a science as a subject, you have maybe 2 or 3 teachers who are doing that particular subject. So you can have multiple people contributing to the subject. So you will have multiple content creators to the one single subject. So the system will allow you to do that. The system has got the functionality to provide you with those. You can have multiple formats because there are certain courses or certain subjects where you would want to do it. You want to structure it. You want to do it on a timed format. You want to do it on a weekly format, because every subject, as looking at the lesson planning or the unit planning that each one of the teachers would do, you would have your sections predefined as far as your classrooms are concerned or classes are concerned. So you can have that well structured with different course formats. In the event that if the institutions are providing certain paid courses which are outside of the standard curriculum of the respective boards that they're affiliated with. If there are any courses outside of this and they are paid courses, yes, we have the ability to build those courses and also put a layer on top of it with respect to the e-commerce of it, wherein the students can pay and take access to those courses. We have forums and online discussions, and you have the e-commerce also built into this, as far as the course building is concerned. We have integrated virtual classrooms where the calendar is associated. You have it available on the calendar. If required, you can integrate it with your Google Calendar, or it gives you an iCal output so that you can integrate it with any of the calendars that you're using. You can send out invitations for live events. Setting up a meeting is very easy. Setting up a session in our virtual classrooms are very, very easy. And you have recorded the entire session that happens gets recorded by default or by choice of the institution. And they are available as a standard library for the students to go back and revisit those recordings which are available. Let us say, for example, if the teacher does a particular session in the morning from 10 to 11, you can go back. The student, once the student is back home, the student can always go back and then take a look at it. So if you look at the current thought process in the education system, which is the blended learning kind of a concept where you have face-to-face teaching or in-classroom teaching, and then you go back and then have the online learning possible. So when you look at this, our solution provides you the ideal platform to do that. Test assignments, homework, we have all the tools available for the basic test. It could be from a schooling perspective, if I have to take, you can do the unit test, you can do the monthly test, you can do the periodic tests, you can do the summative assessments. So all kinds of possibilities are available as far as test assignments or homeworks and assignments. You can do group. I mean, there are a lot of schools which use project works which are done by groups, and the workshops which are done in groups. So you can look at group submission, you can look at group project submissions, and enable the students to deliver as an individual, and the teacher will have control or will be able to see as to which student has contributed to what extent within the project or the assignment. So you have the gradebooks available for each one of the tests and assessments that you do. And at the same time, if you want to bring in attendance, so you also have an attendance module and the attendance reports available for your tests and activities that you do in the institution. User management, we have multiple roles that you can create, multiple users that you can create. You can have multiple institutions that you can create, in the sense that if you look at a particular, most of these institutions are run by trusts and societies and things of that kind. So if you have multiple tiers available, so you can always use them, you can create roles, you can create users, and ensure that the right kind of data is delivered to the right kind of person. So there is no combining of this information and then delivering it. So there is easy import and export of information, teachers, multiple teacher roles, multiple teacher access controls that you can have, or you can build custom roles as for a specific school. It is not necessary. Yeah, we have standard roles, but if you want custom roles, we can also build custom roles for the institutions. We have notifications and assessments available. So you have push notifications and you have announcements that you can have. You can make the announcements for the entire institution, or you can make announcements only for that particular subject or for that particular class. You can make those announcements. And content storage and delivery, as we speak, we don't have any limitation. We provide you unlimited storage space. Real estate is not a constraint. So you have any amount of content that you want to store and deliver it to the students. Yeah, we give you ultimate storage, and we really mean that. We are not constraining yourself in terms of the storage at all in the entire set. Well, configuration, highly configurable, highly customizable as far as the product is concerned. So we can completely white label it in the sense that it is when a user comes on to the application, he will not know that he has gone into some other product. For example, if you are with XYZ school, XYZ public school, so you can have lms.xyz.com. So that can be your URL to go to the application. So you don't have to, we can completely white label it. You will not see any of our logo or name in the system, but for a small thing that we will mention as far as the privacy statements are concerned. So we can have your logo, your color themes. We can also have the SEO and the Google Analytics to ensure that we have the right kind of traffic and the right kind of people coming onto the system. And if you look at what each one of the customers would get, you will definitely have an awesome experience. The experience is that we have quite a few academic people within the organization. So when we look at an organization, we definitely understand what an organization would need. So you would have a beautiful experience, an awesome experience working with us. We have implementation experts who are well-versed with the application and well-versed with the domain and how the school would work, how the board would function. So they have complete domain knowledge, and they have a complete knowledge about the best practices involved in the schools or the institutions. We provide 24/7 support. And yes, there have, with some of the schools that we are working with at this point of time, some of them have requested for on-site support, wherein we have deputed, for the initial period of time, we have deputed our support people on-site, so that till such time the change from the non-digital to a digital environment or a platform occurs, we have our support people available there. We have in-house trainers who will be available and who will make the training available. We provide training in two different ones. One is a teacher training, the other one is the administrative training. So we provide both the trainings. And for CBSE schools, we already have pre-curated content available by whatever is available on the board. We already have pre-curated that. So that is what a customer would get when when we partner together. So if you look at integrations, if the schools or institutions are using any of these tools in terms of web conferencing, we are completely open to integrate these into our applications. And we have integrated and we have tested with these tools. Cloud platform, we currently do it on E2E. If the institution wants it on any other platform, we are open to do that. We also provide proctoring solution. Proctoring is basically to conduct safe examinations and malpractice-free assessments. So we integrate with Proctorio if any of the institutions need proctoring. And if you look at the licensing model, we have 4 categories. We start with silver, gold, platinum. This is based on the kind of features and functionalities that the school would choose to. So they can go from, they can start initially with silver and then gradually move over to the diamond licensing model. These are some of our customers we are currently working, few of them. We are currently working with about 24 schools in Bangalore, and we have done a phenomenal job in terms of, the schools are doing really well. Now, these are some of the screenshots of the application. This is the initial dashboard that you would see, the kind of dashboarding that we have. This is the kind of report, I mean, the what do you call it, the courses display for that, and you will see what is completed, how much of, what is the average class average, what is the individual average in terms of that particular course. Then you have the dashboard and analytics. This is the course content, how the textbook of Science of 9th is seen. Then you have the quizzes and the assessments that you have, the course category and management. And these are some of the mobile screenshots that we are having. These are some of the screenshots for the mobile, right? So this is my name, number, and contact. So now I'm open to take questions.
Thanks, Shiva sir. Wonderful presentation covering the 360-degree perspective of the education. Actually, there is some questions like uh, you have discussed about the teachers' productivity. So people are asking to elaborate how the teachers' productivity will increase.
Okay. So if you look at the teacher productivity, most of the time, if you look at any tasks that are done by the or handled by the teachers within the school, they spend a lot of time in their administrative activities. For example, if you look at setting a question paper is a huge task. So you have to look at the blueprint. Based on the blueprint, you need to set the paper. So that's a huge task that each teachers go through. So we have tools available where you can have the entire activity automated. So if you have an examination committee, they can do that. Or even for the teacher, for example, if I have to create, let us say, a question paper for the examination that is coming up, or the midterm exam that is coming up, which is an 80 marks paper, that entire question paper can be set in a matter of about 20 minutes by the teacher. But otherwise, the teacher takes a much longer time to create that question paper. So what we have done is in the tool, we have built, especially for the school environment, not for the higher education, is that we have a total question bank of about 20,000 questions already created in the system. So it is easier it is only pick and choose, and your question paper or your assessment is ready to go. This is one such example. So I can elaborate, or I can give you a lot more other examples in terms of how the productivity of the teacher can be enhanced. Reusage of content. She has prepared notes, reusing of those content, sharing of that content, how the content is delivered to the student. So that is something that will definitely increase the productivity of the teachers. In terms
And
of
sir,
time saved in the
uh,
valuation of papers.
okay, sir. And Shiva sir, you have mentioned regarding the online course building and the content development. So can you
Yeah.
elaborate something specific that in what manner you are helping out the teachers in that particular area?
Uh, See, we are not content developers. We don't develop content. But today, if you see the internet, there is so much of content available for the teachers to use. Teachers would want to use it, but they don't have a platform to deliver that to the students. Now, how if I look at the YouTube video, it would be from National Geographic, it would be from any of the sites YouTube. But how do I reach it to the student? We have built tools where they can take all that they need to do is sharing a particular video to the students on a given subject or a given topic would not take more than 15 seconds for a teacher to do, right? So now in that particular video, if the teacher wants to do some interactivity, if she wants to ensure that the student goes through the entire video and then put the question or do the assessment on that video, these kind of tools are already available in the system for the teacher to do. And of course, it is not that the teacher can just log in and then do it. There is some training that is required. And again, it is not rocket science. It is
Yes.
very simple, very straightforward. The tools are very intuitive, and the teachers will be able to do very easily.
Okay, not so, sir. And so, sir, one of the major query that is coming from the educator side regarding the assessment. Assessment is the prime concern. So how you are maintaining the assessment side by putting the quality of education on the top priority? How we are maintaining the decorum of this assessment with the education perspective?
See, there are multiple things in terms of assessments. One is the basic assessment that you would do of a student in terms of the basic question and answering, or a quiz kind of answer question, which is limited toward the level of the unit test or at the unit test or the lesson test that they would do. But the moment you look at the summative assessments that you would do, the teachers will be able to do it. I mean, if you look at an online test, that the assessment that the school or the institution would like to do, we have two things that we ensure in terms of the entire thing. One is there is something called a safe browsing that is possible within the system, wherein there need not be any kind of the student will not be able to go outside of that safe browser for him to attend to that. The other one that I was talking about was in terms of proctoring. So proctoring is something that it does the face recognition, it does your, face movement recognition, and then provides the input to the teachers in terms of malpractices been done, not been done. It categorizes between, green, orange, and red. So that, and even if it is in orange, it will also give you detail in terms of from what time to what time it was in orange. So those kind of things can definitely be achieved within the system.
Perfect, sir. This is a major highlight. You have mentioned safe browsing in the proctoring system that has been enhanced by the educators. And my next question, Shiva sir, is that as per the owner mindset, who is investing the money for taking any solution for educators, so there's a one gap, that is skill gap between the IT implementation for the solution and the training the teachers. You have already mentioned that you are training the teachers as well as the admin department. So what is the process that from the starting level and to the implementation level? So how, Shiva sir, you are processing the things?
Right. See, excellent. If you look at any school, I definitely understand that most of the schools may not have the kind of IT professionals that may be required to implement such a solution. So what we do is we take a very consultative approach in terms of implementation of this. Our team goes on site where we look at the institution creating a kind of a core team in terms of implementation of this. We look at what their courses are, how their courses are currently being done. And then we go back to the school and say, look, this is what we recommend to be done online, and this is how we are going to do it online. So once we have the approval from the school that, yes, this is the process that we need to do and what the system should be done with, only then we put the entire thing onto the system. The entire process would take about 3 weeks of time, 3 working weeks for the entire solution to be put in place. And once that is done, we do the training for the teachers, we do the training for the school administrators, and then we roll it out to the students. We also have an orientation program for the students as well, because you just can't give a tool to the students and then ask them to start using it. So we have an orientation program for the students as well, where we show them the basic functionality and how they should look at that. And we also have a 24/7 support center available, wherein at any given point of time, either the student or the teacher is facing an issue, they can always call back. Email support is available, chat support is available. They can always come back and then ask their questions.
Well elaborated, Shiva sir. So I request all the participants, so if you want to enroll the EJET system, you have direct number of Shiva sir, and you can directly contact to the team as well. So I just request Shiva sir, you can put your direct number in the chat box, so that if any person want to contact to you, you can directly entertain him. So it's a 100% system.
There's a question from Mr. Hitesh Malhotra.
Yes.
How is Easy Slate module used in classroom where students don't carry devices? It is only applicable for schools which implement the bring your own device policy. No, it is not so. That is where it is not required that every student must have his or her own device in the school. This is possible even on a basic smartphone, on a tablet, or any device. It is not necessary. Personally, I mean, I run a CBSE school, rural CBSE school back in Bangalore. So I don't expect the students to carry devices to their classrooms. But once they go back home, they will have access to the some device, maybe a mobile device or a tablet or a desktop or a laptop. They will have access to it. So it is not required. Easy Slate can be implemented where it is, as I said, for blended learning kind of a scenario, where you have face-to-face learning and you have online learning. And for online learning, it works beautifully on a mobile, beautifully on a tablet, and on a desktop or a laptop. So it is not required. The policy of BYOD is not required.
Thank you, Shiva sir. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. And I request all the participants to directly contact to the EJET Slate team, so that if you have any query regarding the enrollment and regarding the buying this product, how to put your product in the system of the, so you can directly contact to Shiva Prasad sir and his team. Thank you, Shiva sir. Thank you for joining the School Leadership Summit South India version from the content, for giving your precious time. Thank you, Shiva.